just blessed another one.
Okay, well, praise the Most High. Sister Cathar, you want to bring us on in?
She's muted, I believe.
Okay. You guys can hear me now?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Happy happy Feast of First Fruits, everyone. I pray all is well with everyone, and if not, it's going to be all right. So I am here as Sister Cathar, as announced, as a representative of Sands of the Seas. And what Sands of the Seas is, we're a collective of Hebrew businesses collectively working together to build proper economics, not only with one another, but with other businesses as well, those in our community, new and already established. So if anyone is interested in joining us, there are a number of us already working together fruitfully. So I'm actually very honored and excited to be a part of our Hebrew Business Association. And so if anyone is interested in joining us as far as growing together, journeying together, you can join through Sand of the Seas. That's at SANDOFTHSEAS. And then if that's all I have to say as far as the introduction. So if there's anything else that I need to elaborate, I would like to follow the order or the leadership of those who are hosting the water.
So let's say prayer. So sisters, make sure you got your head covered. Brothers, make sure you got your head uncovered. Brother Top, you want to go in for us?
Sure. All right. Hearts and minds clear. Let's focus on the Most High. Heavenly Father, Ahaya Ashur, Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya, Wawakwadash. We thank you, Father, for the ability to come together, Father, tonight and to be able to discuss Hebrew economics, to be able to talk about the children and, of course, how our businesses tie into it, Father. We ask that the conversation that we have be fruitful, Father, and beneficial to the nation, Father, beneficial to the individual businesses that are associated, and, of course, to all the viewers that may be watching, Father, may it be impactful and powerful. We ask that, of course, you bless this broadcast, bless this show, bless the people who, of course, have spent their time and volunteered their time to participate in it thus far, and, of course, to bless the future endeavors of all the businesses that are associated. In Yeshua's mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, praise the Most High. Before we get started with Hebrew business, business to the children and being conversant about how we can get our children involved in being entrepreneurs, either taking over our own businesses or creating a business for themselves. Just how we can build economically and pass things on as an inheritance, and passing things on down to our children. We want to talk about some of the things that Sand of the Seas has coming up. Our first flyer, of course, would be business. Our first flyer would be business to children. This is what we're going to talk about tonight, is the business to children. Okay. Brother, if you could put that flyer up for me. I can't tell from this side if it's up or not. Brother Chop. Chop. Okay. So we got our first. Oh, go ahead. Just can't see it from this side. So. Okay. So we got 30-second delay. Okay. That's good. Okay, I got you. So yeah, so this is what we talking about tonight. Business to children. How do we pass on group economics to our children? Whether we have fathers or mothers, still examine first of all the word and what it say that we should pass on to our children, and then second of all our collective works and also our works as individuals, how we can pass these things down to our children and or to our community. Next flyer. Our next flyer would be, what's the next one here? Just tell me which one is up. Business flyer. If you're looking forward to having your business a part of the business association, you would like to join Laquac Sakar Merchant Learning Classes. We have a 21-week course where entrepreneurs in the Hebrew community partnering with one another to build business culture and network. So we have a number of businesses together online with you today. My business is God's Foundation. We create things such as, we have the Credo back here, the 10 Commandments in Hebrew and in ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, and also in English. That's just the design and art design that I created. So got my business. We have Yatab with his business, which we got SB Management Group. Describe your business. And
Sure. So SB Management Group was designed and built to be a help to small businesses and established businesses or people that have business ideas. So whether you're looking to grow your business or you're looking to start your business from the ground up, we have definitely resources and networks that are capable of helping you whatever facet that you have, whether that be branding, merchandising, lead acquisition, so on and so forth. We're built to help business movement.
Then we also got Genesis Natural Order. Sister Cathar, you want to describe your business?
Yes, Shalom family. So I am Cathar, as Bala said, and my business is Genesis Natural Order, in which I am owner and operator. And what we do is create all natural health and beauty products. I like to say complementary and alternative, because the objective is to, if for those who are already on like medications or other things, it helps you transition from those chemicals to the all natural products. And so, yes, all natural health and beauty products, that's deodorants, body butters, health, hair products, skincare, and even some lip balms and some other knickknacks. So if you're interested, or when you have the time, go ahead and check us out at
www.gnohills.com. So let's go to our next flyer, and we have a number of multiple businesses on here alongside with us. We'll be bringing them in later on or throughout this conversation. So what's our next flyer we got? The art gallery. Next month, we'll be opening up our art gallery. Come check us out. We'll be on TBT Radio again, and we'll have a number of artists showing forth their works. Hebrew art, representing the culture, representing the community, showing forth our holy hands and how we, produce art. Beautiful people That's all we do. We just very talented. We got art all over the place in all different manners. So if you are interested in displaying your art or showcasing your art, we showcase the art for we showcase any kind of art, every kind of art, from NFTs to canvas to art like what's behind me, any kind of art that you have. We are structuring a show particularly to Hebrew arts. So we ask that if you want to support, also we have room for sponsorship. Sponsorship helps out. Or sponsorship helps out. We'll be able to advertise through sponsorships. So the grand opening is next month, June 10th. So tune in with us, be live with us as all the businesses are coming to actually support those who have art. So. One time. Chess tournament. So Oakland, California for Juneteenth. We have a few of the businesses in the end of the cities that have came together, such as the Rewise Foundation. They partner with another company called. Okay. Let's put it up. Okay. So, we have. I'm gonna just rerun it. We have for Juneteenth, we have a local chess tournament in Oakland, California. It'll be at Castlemont High. Hosting it is the Reed Report, God's Foundation. Hosting it is the Reed Report. It's sponsored by a company called Legacy of Black Genius, or it's presenting the chess tournament under Juneteenth. And we've come together to create a chess tournament there. And after this chess tournament, on the same day, we'll be having a 3-point contest. And that's also hosted by the Reed Report, also working with Legacy of Black Genius, partnering with a few other businesses locally. And if you would like some of these events in your area, contact us at Sand of the Seas. We on Instagram, we on Facebook. Speaking of Facebook and Instagram, if everybody can go on to Facebook and Instagram and share the link from Facebook, or share the link from Instagram, let people know that we own. All right, so we got the 3-point contest, and we have championship belts for both of those. So just in case you think you guys, we ran a chess champion. We have a chess champion in the Hebrew community. Couldn't help it. I just couldn't help it.
Sure. I'm sure you could.
We ran a chess tournament. We'll be doing another chess tournament for the Hebrew community. However, we going local. So if you would like some of these events to be held locally with your business and support, your business would like to support anything that Sand of the Seas is doing, we are willing to partner. We are willing to sponsor. We are willing to, to jump ahead of the game and get into the community to help build economics. So that's that part. And now we're going to go into the shopping spree. We have a Hebrew shopping online, Hebrew shopping spree that's going to be online. Sign up with your business. Okay, sign up with your business. Your business being a part of the Hebrew shopping spree solidifies you in the Hebrew market, because we're gonna have all type of vendors there. You get to showcase your work. You get to showcase your holy hands, what you do with your artwork, and what the Most High have led you to do to create inside of the Hebrew community. Whether you have products or whether you have a service, you can go ahead and present it to us. So that will be a blessing. Go ahead and sign up for that right there. The link should be coming up online, and you'll see that link right. Oh, go to Sand of the Seas. Go to Sand of the Seas, and you'll see the Hebrew shopping spree, and we'll have a link for you. That's an old flyer. So that was my fault. But Hebrew Business Shopping Spree, be prepared for that. That's July 24th. Online sales, online discounts, packages, and deals. So sign up, present your product, July 24th. It's only 3 hours of discounts. Only 3 hours. So that way, Hebrews all have, they have a time frame, and the discounts ain't, just stretched out throughout the whole year. Now, just this time frame, 3 hours of discounts. So save up and be prepared for that. All right. Anything else? Miss anything? I think that's all the flyers, right?
I believe so.
All right, cool. So now we in it. Let's talk about business to children. Yatab, you want to open us up with business to children?
Sure. So business to children, I think, is a very important topic. When we talk about our legacies, they are our children. And of course, the future of the nation and who we are as a people is dependent on what it is that we're giving to our children, what it is that we're handing down to them. Are we handing down to them knowledge of who they are according to scripture, practices that they, of course, should be keeping in very close to them and daily, whether that be prayer, Sabbaths, diet, so on and so forth? Are we teaching them what it is that they need to know about business to be successful, right? Are we giving them some of the resources that some of us just weren't blessed with? Let's just be honest. Some of us did not know how to start a business, did not know what licensing we needed, didn't know what an LLC was, an S Corp, a sole proprietorship. We all had to find these things out either from our own research, or maybe ask a brother or sister that may have had experience in it. And then, quite frankly, just to be honest, like myself, if you're anything like me, you had to make a couple mistakes, right? You had to figure out kind of like what you were doing. So when we're talking about businesses to children, it's businesses that are either established, trying to be established, or looking for help to be established, and giving back to those children in those communities. Giving back in the form of not only monetary donations, toys, food, so on and so forth, but most importantly, knowledge and information. Because we need to give back to our children who are our legacy so that they can, of course, be able to take what it is that we've done over our lifetime and build on that. Because a lot of us, I don't know, I didn't inherit SB Management Group. It has been a brainchild of mine that it's been obviously a childhood dream. So to see this logo in the background and on these t-shirts is a fulfillment of a lot of hard work and a lot of bumps and bruises along the road trying to learn and understand what this is. But now that I'm in a position to where I have something, which is a company that, of course, has been filed through, Nevada state, courts and so on and so forth. It's actual legal business entity. Now that we have this, right, we're able to give it to our children. But what are we giving, right? Are we giving instruction? Are we giving direction? Are we giving a functioning business. You know, some of us, I don't know. I don't know if everybody out there can agree. Some of us have some of the paperwork. Some of us know what we're doing. Some have a strategy in place, and some don't. So at the end of the day, Business to Children is here to make sure that we're able to give something back to the children, and more importantly, give something back to those parents in the form of understanding what it is that we're supposed to be leaving as far as a legacy for our children. Are our children prepared for that, right? Would they be able to pick up your business right now, understanding what it is that needs to be done, what is vitally important, and be able to move forward with your business after you're not here anymore, right? Because we all have a time. We all have a date where the Most High is going to call us, right? Whether we're prepared for that or not, whether it's a year, 10 years, 15 years, whoever knows, only the Most High knows that time. But would the children be able to be prepared to take on those businesses and continue in that legacy? Are we preparing them? Do we know what we need to know to be able to give them? Do we know what we know, right? And so that's the conversation, the topic that we'll be talking about today.
Yeah. So that is this is something big that, it's a tough topic because we have the prophecy we have to consider. We have to consider prophecy and things that will happen in the future. However, we know the kingdom is from within. So if we're going to be building our kingdom, we have to ensure that our legacy, which is our children, not only our children, but our friends' children that's in the truth, our brother and sister that's in the truth, children, and their children's children. So, yeah, I mean, this is a tough topic because we want to ensure our future no matter what goes on, whether America is left standing, or excuse me, it ain't going to be left standing, but dang, I shouldn't say that on YouTube. But whether the American economy has fallen or not, or whatever economy we end up in between or inside of, we want to ensure that we and our children have something to carry along as the journey to Christ, the journey to our promised land, the journey to Christ coming is ensured with group economics and intelligence, wisdom, just how we supposed to survive. Because when we get out there into the wilderness, it ain't gonna be American lifestyle there. So we have to be prepared for those days to come. So yeah, let's start with how do we prepare our children for the kingdom to come? How have you started, Brother Yatab, to prepare the children for the kingdom to come? Your children, when it comes to economics.
That's a good question. So the preparation for the kingdom to come and for whatever befalls us moving forward just begins with our own mental readiness, our own preparedness. Are we prepared? Because we can't teach or prepare a generation to be prepared if we're not taking steps ourselves to be prepared. So when it comes to the kingdom to come, understanding what it is that we're doing business-wise, and of course how that can be able to be effective in different situations economically is something that we have discussions about. We also here in the household and for the children and grandchildren, making sure that they are aware that there is something that, of course, is viable for them to be able to participate in, right? Trying to see what it is that they have as far as skill set, interests, and so on and so forth, that would be able to correlate with the business. Because if you like, certain things, like let's say, for an example, if you like to speak to people, where there's an ability for you to use those interpersonal skills to be able to talk to other businesses, other customers, clients, and network, right? And of course, be able to utilize it there. But definitely trying to identify what it is that they're good in, what their skill sets are to be able to contribute to the business is a step. And then also making sure that they understand, at the end of it, who they are, and trying to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and sharing the gospel with them to prepare them to prepare their spirit, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we prepare physically, financially, or with resources. If our spirit's not right, then we're going to put ourselves in a situation that gets us into some kind of trouble. So having those conversations as well, and encouraging them to continue their relationship and their personal relationship with Christ and the Most High God and the Creator is definitely a foundation and a staple for that.
Yeah, yeah, because that foundation in Christ definitely matter. Hey, because no foundation in Christ, man, your business folds. If you not have a stability of honor and integrity towards the Most High, I mean, how much honor and integrity will you have towards business partners and
business
practices,
client relations, just the whole thing as far as your relationship there is important. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Sister Cathar? How you prepare your children for the kingdom to come concerning business or group economics?
Yes, and in our household, it's basically self-sufficiency. I mean, and as we all know, like amongst our fellowship or our people we commune with, we speak of a self-sufficient nation. Well, it begins with the children, and it starts with just teaching them. And children show you what they know. We're witnessing it with our children as they're coming here smarter and smarter, more and more in advance. And that's not by happenstance. So the time is now. We've done the grinding, and we've done the hard work as far as like figuring out how to get businesses started. Like the brother said, some of us have made mistakes that our children don't have. Looking at our children, we're examining our children. We are listening to our children as far as who are they? The kingdom is within you. So you is just not me or you, but it's them as well. So what kingdom is within them? Are we paying attention? And are we doing what is required to bring out of them all that is needed to help us suffice as a nation? The help that we did not have. So we've acquired all this understanding, and we've acquired this experience. And so what I am witnessing now and what I am seeing is the time is now to invest that knowledge in them, because they're pretty much equipped already with a lot of things, So now we need to put into them what it won't take them 30 or 40 years to acquire what we've had to acquire, right? There was something else as far as operating. So somebody mentioned the wilderness and us going into these businesses needs to already be functioning and operating. So does your child understand how to operate with other people, other businesses? You can look at that by examining how they operate in the household. So the time is now as far as like getting them equipped. And even if you don't have children, because I know there may be some who don't have children, they may think that this is not applicable to them, or those who don't have a business yet. But why not? Why don't you have a business? You should have a business. I'll tell you something else that I have witnessed, and I'll finish off with that. A sister, she does not have children. She is an older sister, and she started a business, and she got tired of the business, and she handed that business off to one of the youth, amongst us. So here and here's the beauty of that. The person she handed the business off to, that young sister already had a business, but you could see how her business flourished even more because she pretty much fused the business of that elder lady and her business together. And when the elder lady handed her the business, how to do it, all the clientele that she already had, So even those who do not have children, they're still beneficial to the nation. You understand what I'm saying? Or
Mhm.
those who don't have a business yet. Why not? Because how are you going to sustain when the objective is to come up out of this place? So how are you going to sustain?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
we have to think outside of ourselves, and we have to think further than the present. And that's all I got for right now. So
My, you know, in addition, we was talking, and yeah, one of your future motivations was to, you said like create classes for the youth to understand business. So what's some thoughts on that? You know, you would like to share concerning things that we'll be working on in the future.
yes, as far as the classes for the children, and I would tell you like some, you know, I create lessons, and I give them to the children first, you know, because that to me, that the children inspire me, because I could come in with excitement, with a great idea to a group of adults, to a group of us, and I'm telling you, I'm excited, and they'll just give me a blank face. But I can come to the children with the same idea, same enthusiasm, and they're like, yeah, let's get it, you know. So so as far as the classes go, we do have classes established already. Oh, sorry, hang on. This is a power thing. Hang on, sorry.
Low battery. Low battery. Low battery.
Low battery.
Yeah. Anyway, we look, I can talk in part. But you know, we do have classes starting already for the children, and one of them is just pretty much the foundation, the functions. Just give me one moment, family.
Yeah.
But I think that when she was speaking, just to just iterate this, it's being transparent, right? As a people, you know, we have a bad or a misrepresentation as being selfish with information and not wanting others to succeed, not wanting others to exceed what we've done, and so on and so forth. So, in order to break those things, we need to be able to give the information. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So we need to be able to give that information and be transparent with that information and give it to the youth. Okay, because some of us, I don't know, I've just been witness of and heard stories of, you know, people just not wanting to give information to their children or to other people because, hey, I don't want them to be better than me. I want them to be where I'm at. I don't want anybody to supersede or to exceed what I've done, right? And so as long as we're caring about building the nation and caring for one another, I don't care if God's Foundation or if Flow or if GNO Heals is more successful, as long as the information that I was able to give or the things that I was able to do is adding or providing, you know, some sort of assistance to that success, right? Because your success as a member of Stand at the Seas Collective or as a member of the Hebrew business community, your success is my success, because we all should have the same goal of building the kingdom and building the nation. So that's the mindset that we should have when we're doing anything as far as the nation and kingdom building.
Okay, I'm ready.
There you go. There you go.
So out of that, thank you, brother. You know, you see, this is the awesome thing about our brothers. You know, they do what needs to be done to
we got your back.
Us to, you know, get our message out. But anyway, like I was saying, as far as the children and the classes, the objective of the classes is to prepare our children to not only have their own businesses, but be able to work with other businesses as well. You know, and these thoughts began with us homeschooling our children. Some of us pulled our children out of the public schools over 5 years ago. And so what was in the forefront of my mind is, where is my child going to work? You know, who's going to hire my child? What are the steps? Because a lot of things we've done, we were acting on faith. So I understood that there were some things that we all needed to put in place. And that's why the majority of us have been grinding for all these years, you know, for the future of our children. But as I was saying, who will employ your child? Okay. Can you employ your child? That was the objective of me starting something. I'm like, okay, there needs to be something established for them to just jump in and work. But what if they're not interested in my business? Like my business is about health and beauty products, but I have a child who wants to go into fashion design, you know? So is there somebody else in the nation who can employ my child? Or, you know, allow her to intern, you know, or let's see, and then here's another thing as well. Is my child employable? Like the brothers mentioned earlier, your business needs to be founded in Christ. We all need to be in Christ or operating in Christ amongst each other. So is your child employable? You know, these are the things we need to consider when we're only amongst each other, and we need to thrive amongst each other or off of each other. So there's some key fundaments that our children need to have, or some basics that our children need to have. And that is the objective of the classes, not only to have them already established. Once they finish the course, their business will already be established, the portfolio will already be established. Okay, we're just talking about the monetary or the profit part of it. But what about just the basic characteristics or the characteristics of Christ? Does your child have that? So is your child employable? Would I want your child to work for me, or would I want my child to work for you? You know?
Okay.
So that was all I had on that as far as now. I believe I've said enough as far as.
Okay. Yeah, kind. Because those are excellent questions that you just asked that, you know, some of our parents didn't ask. You know, did I raise an employable child? You know, maybe that's not a word, but did I raise
employable
a child that can be employed?
Employable is a word, sir. You are correct. Right.
Yeah, because
nice.
It's one as of tonight.
Yeah. So is my child employable? Or if he ain't, can he own or run his own business? So let me ask y'all too, you know, are y'all raising y'all children to be employees, or if they already grown and out, you know, I mean, speak to that. Like, are you raising your children to be employees? Are you raising your children to be business owners? So what's your thought on that, Utah?
Great question. So let's dive into it. So for me, my youngest child was born in 2003. So that means he's 19 years old in college. Okay. I have all children are at least 18 years of age for me. I have grandchildren now. So as far as my children, it's just to be transparent with you all, family. Being a business owner is something that's happened for me in the last couple of years. Okay. It's been something that has really sped up over the last year. I actually was official then as far as the filings, but it's something that is new to me. So in my parenting and in my dealings with my children, it has been mostly geared towards making sure that they understand what are practices and behaviors and mindsets that will allow them to be employable, to be sought after as employees, right? To be a part of a business that is being run by someone else. It's only most recently that I'm like, hey, well, now that I have this business established, let's see how we can utilize your gifts, your talents, your skills, your work ethic, and the things that you understand and know how to do and can do well, and be able to incorporate those into this business idea and figure out if there's a lane for that, or if there's another business that we need to create that would allow you to be able to take advantage of those skills and, of course, add to the nation. So that's what we're doing now. Now, as far as the grandchildren are concerned, it's more so making sure they know who they are fundamentally, right? They know what these practices are according to the faith that will allow them to be successful in whatever endeavor that they take, and understanding who they are, right? That's what that is. But we want to make sure that the foundation is laid for them also when they come up and they have questions. Hey, what are you doing in here? Grandpa, how are you able to do this? That we able to have an answer for them that would be able to engage them and allow them to be interested in it, because it's putting food on the table for you, right? It is sustaining this life. You want to know how we're able to have this house or have, this car, or, be able to put gas in put gas in the vehicle or go to the grocery store. It comes from this work right here. So definitely want to make sure that they have an interest in it as well.
What about you, Sister Cathar? How's what about you?
Yeah, being employable is just all about relationships. So those are things we do. I have daughters, so it's important that we teach young women to be pliable. You have to be able to flex and bend, So yeah, although the objective is to have you be an entrepreneur, it may be necessary that you may need to work for somebody. So you should be able to still work for somebody. And that goes right back to the Beatitudes of Christ, like just being able to function in different relationships. And you can see those dynamics. And I can't say this enough, but we can look into our household now, as far as like growing children, as far as like how do they already operate amongst the family? How do the siblings operate amongst each other? So the teaching starts there. If I already have a business, then and here's the thing, your home, that's the first organization that your children work for. That right there. I mean, the children should have chores. That's already responsibilities. The parents should give children allowance. That's pay. That's payment for what they're doing. But then it's like, as far as like how they operate amongst each other, how do they operate when the father or the mother tells them what to do? Because as you can see, if they're not listening to the father or the mother, then that's that one that goes out into the community, and they're very hard to deal with. So yes, although we do encourage in entrepreneurship, we still instill those basic concepts of operating with people in general, as far as nurturing relationships, preserving relationships, valuing people.
Yeah, see that those are excellent topics that the youth need to learn, our children need to learn, carry on to their children, and really establish characteristics and personalities that would allow them to either be employable and or entrepreneurs. I think for my family to come, I'm trying to raise some entrepreneurs. I would love my daughter or my son just not to be told what to do, but asked to do what they do best. So, yeah, and it's fine that, everybody can't be a business owner, or everybody don't know how to, or that might not be in everybody's soul and spirit. And, they might not be able to build off of that, but being employed is okay. It's you wanting to see the prosperity of the person that has employed you. That's the reason why you would. This is, in my mind, this is the reason why I would work for someone else, unless it's forcible work or indentured work, is what is going on here in America. And if you force to work for somebody rather than just do what you love, and if that's being employed, working and watching somebody prosper, that's fine. Entrepreneur, do it yourself, contract with brothers and sisters, and figure out the best way to fit your skill sets into society. Is we should be establishing the values from both sides into our community. So be it that we want to be able to pass our children an inheritance. Some of the things that we have to ensure to our youth is business ethics. business ethics. And let's ask the question, were your parents able to ensure business ethics into you? Were your forefathers, or what's some of the cultural aspects that of business culture were you able to inherit? And if you didn't inherit any, if you didn't inherit any, that's cool. But what are some business culture or aspects that you've learned from your parents? Let's go with Brother Yatab.
I'm sorry. The background was breaking up a little bit. What was it? What was the question?
So the question is, what's some parts of business culture did you learn from your parents?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. All these are good questions, by the way. But for me, my household, the way that it was structured, it was predominantly a single parent household. My father was the one that was investing a lot of the time and, of course, doing a lot of the providing. So when it came time for me to learn from him, and the things that I took from him was work ethic, number one. Okay. Understanding that, as, husband, father, the man, if you will, right, it's your job to provide for your family. So I saw him work tirelessly to provide for our family. I'm the oldest of 6 children. So to see him work 2 and 3 jobs and commit himself to be able to allocate the time that was necessary, no matter how much time it took, to be able to do what needed to be done. So as far as being an entrepreneur, my dad graduated from college with a bachelor's degree and was supposed to go back for a master's degree and didn't do that because he had me. So he chose to raise a family as opposed to continue his education. Who knows if that would have led to him actually owning his own business or actually pursuing that path. I'm not necessarily sure. But I know that he had a drive and a will to be able to give back to the community. He's always worked with empowering youth, educating youth, and so on and so forth. So his passion for the people definitely was something that was passed down as well. As far as other entrepreneurial things, those were pretty much the things that I think that I take with me and that affect me the most in my dealings with people and how I run my business. Being able to be a people's person, caring for the community, caring for the youth, and of course, the hard work and the work ethic.
Okay. What about you, Sister Qatar?
Your question was what type of our background or what our parents were like?
Was there any business culture aspects that was instilled into you from your parents, grandparents?
Oh, absolutely. As far as I know, I have a strong relationship with my grandfather, and it was just about business. It was about business. The same with my father, which my grandfather is my father's dad. It's just about take care of business. Like, I praise Ahia for them because I can see them. That father relationship is very important to our nation, as far as understanding how the Most High works, but and also understanding why we need Christ. Because as far as my father and my grandfather, they were very strict. They were business orientated. They were very strict. They were get it done or catch something. I don't know. Did I get cut off? I'm seeing a blank. Are we all still connected?
We still connected.
Okay, great. Yeah. So they were it's like, take care of business or, catch the consequences, Mm-hmm. And so as far as like business aspects, that was strongly instilled within me. And, but I will say this, and I'll be very candid. So with those with that mindset, you know, okay, yeah, they're successful, and they are empowered, but there also came along, what came along with that is like that cutoff game, you know, like, okay, well, it's my way or hit the highway, you know. So what I did not see is what I use what I've learned from them, but I also fuse with that the fundamentals of Christ as far as maintaining those relationships. Is you just don't throw people away, you know. I hate to say it like that, but that's the reality of it. And so that's why I feel like it's important to teach the youth as far as maintaining those the relationships with your parents, the relationships with the siblings, the relationships with extended family, you know, because those what would our businesses be without the relationships we have with each other? You
Mm.
who you understand what I'm saying? Like Genesis natural order, is, I say this all the time, Genesis natural order is the fruit of those I commune with every Sabbath. Like, the business has been operating since 2014 or 15, but that is because they insist on me providing what they need and me loving them enough to like, okay, I'll make the sacrifice. Because there was time I was working a job, an 8-hour job, and I would still come home and make the things that they were requesting for them because they needed those things. But that was my love for them. The way I see it, it was my love for them fulfilling what they asked of me. And it was their love for me insisting on like, no, I'm coming to you for this. I could go here, I could go to the beauty supply, but I want you to do it. But I do feel like those relationships are important because I do see those of us, I don't know if anybody else has this experience, and I hate to I'll cut this short, but I don't know if anyone has this experience where they're witnessing the generations before us where there's estrangement. You know, there are elders who have worked for so much, but they're losing everything because that next generation is not there to receive what they work for. Because
Wow.
they're bitter. Because there's offenses, there's grudges. So I'm just talking about what I'm witnessing. You know, and there's
Yeah.
more I can share. I don't know how much time we have, but I just don't want to be long-winded here. And so that's why in what I teach the children, I have about 16 years of experience in teaching. In all of my teaching and my curriculum, I fuse Christ in there because from my own experience, I understand the relationships are most important over anything. The love for your people.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good point because right now there is like you said, estrangement throughout our communities, and we're unable to carry the burdens. We unable to carry we're not carrying too much from the generations before us. I mean, we're not carrying nothing good. We're carrying more of the bad than we are the good. At least that's what's publicized. So, but also when I look at my community, that is what I see. When I was growing up, there was, you had the liquor stores on the corner. Well, Black people had liquor stores on the corner. Those liquor stores turned into, they were giving them to Middle Easterners, also known as Arabs. So you've seen the liquor stores not being able to transfer from the father to the child. And that was due to estrangement. What the children were getting into was something separate from how to ensure that the liquor store grow. So these are things that should be placed on the table for us to have that conversation. How do we pass the legacy on to our children? How do we give our children an inheritance? That's what the Bible says. It says we're supposed to leave an inheritance for our children. you know, so let me ask you, Sister Cathar, and then Brother Yatam, to one of your children. You mentioned that one of your children. Okay. Okay. So from where? No, it's all good. Okay. So the question is, how do we pass a legacy on to our children? How do we and make sure our children have an inheritance? The Bible says that we are supposed to give our children an inheritance. Uh, you know, me from my parents more so ensured that my parents ensured that they would have had preferred me to be an employee. You know, I don't know if you heard the saying, but the saying is one of the sayings that my family uses: "Don't be an Indian chief." You know, like don't be like on your own or anything like that, but or not a part of the collective or society. Go get a good education. Go to college. You know, I was supposed to do those things, but the the structure for me to accomplish those things wasn't there. Um, and I grew a different way. The other side of my family, so you got my mother's side, and you got my father's side. My father's side is more entrepreneurs. They're all on that side. Everybody got their different set of skills and businesses. Some sing, some play instruments. Like my father, he played the instrument. He played the trumpet. He also owned a music store. When I was young, I would watch him run the music store. So that was it was encouraging back then, because back then, like he would live where he sold the music, because that's how that back then. It was just easier like that. You talking about 1990 something, you know what I mean? So, yeah, the inheritance, it would have been nice to inherit a music store, but Napster kicked in around that time. The internet started kicking in. People started pirating music, and so forth. So the adjustment had to be made. So yeah, but in any case, a legacy or inheritance should be worked out for the children. And when we work, we should be working to ensure that our children are going to be at least have something to look forward to in the future as a security. Let's ask some of the other businesses that's online. Let's ask some of you guys, like, what you've heard so far. What would you like to build on concerning businesses going to children? What would y'all like to build on? Like, introduce yourself, introduce your brand. What are you selling? And then tell us how you look forward to your child inheriting or having an inheritance or legacy. Anybody can come in, just unmute your mic.
All right. Hello. Shalom, everyone. My name is Sister Kanawana, and I am the founder and owner of a business name called Raffle Zone. So what we do is we pretty much set up auctions and raffles for businesses. You can give away items, services, advice, whatever is a value that you have. And we just spread it and, get everyone to participate. This actually enables you to spread the business. And this actually also provides good exposure to you as well as people who are viewing, and good opportunities as well, to get those services or items. So yeah, that's what Raffle Zone is. I also am studying to be a midwife. So right now I offer doula support and services, and my organization is called Bond Village. So yeah, I do that as well. And passing, so yeah, about the question, passing the business on to my child. Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Yeah, how do you look forward to ensuring that your child has, or children to come have, an inheritance or a legacy?
Oh yeah, awesome, awesome. Um, I think health is wealth, and really gaining knowledge about that in whatever aspect. Health, like it could be birth, it could be herbalism, it could be all that. There's a large diaspora. I definitely want my kids to learn health. I want them to learn numbers so they can be responsible with their finances and whatever they have stocked up. And I want to bounce off what Sister Cathar was emphasizing so well, and about good relationships, good standings. It truly does start at home. So I want my family to be able to operate just as the scriptures advise. If there's differences, we settle the matter, we keep it between us, and we still work together regardless of any ill feelings or complications or confusions that go on. It's really important, like, to not let any offenses get the best of us, because we don't want to hinder our works or our progress. So good relationships, good standings is very important to me. In the business world, they call that businesses that come together, they call it synergy. That's one of the words. So good synergy with other businesses is awesome as well. Like I said, hearing everyone talk, it had me thinking of the scriptures, with instances of the kings who were on accord with the Most High and good standings with Him. They had really, some of them had really great relationships with other kingdoms. Other kingdoms would come and bring them gifts, and there are times where they're really generous back to their people. Like, they had it really organized, and they really thrived because they reflected the Most High. There wasn't no greed involved. They kept Him first. Yes, it was amazing instilling His law. And I think, like I said, that is Christ-like as well, because He reflects the Father. So yeah, keeping Christ at the base of it all is so key, so key. And when the children hear it, they will definitely thrive as well if they watch closely and they learn, and you keep them involved, with a lot of support as well, a lot of encouragement. So yeah, that's what I like my daughter to, the way I like her to inherit it is pretty much working close with me, as well as me observing her to see what her talents are, because they may not be the same. She might not be aspire to be a midwife, and that's fine. But if she does know the basics of how to thrive on her own business, learning business, like if she takes the class Cathar will soon be teaching, hopefully, like that'll be so valuable, because yeah, it's like bringing a horse to the well and actually making him drink. She's going to get nourished with knowledge. So if they just know the basics of business, actually not the basics, the ins and outs of business, she could carry that with her. Like, she could achieve any dream she has. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yes, sis.
All right, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. Shalom, family. I'm Adiyar. I am the owner and creator of Flow Creations Clothing. I've been in business for 7 years now, and our goal is to continue to push the leader mentality by means of fashion. And the Flow and Flow Creations is an acronym for future leaders of the world. So I think we fit really well with teaching business to children. And as far as instilling some of those principles, wrote some notes down. There was a lot of good points. Something that stood out to me was thinking outside of ourselves. And that resonated with me, because when you think outside of yourself and you understand that how all kingdoms are ran throughout the earth, at any time period, you have to structure it to where you won't receive the benefit of it. We all get a short lifespan, but if you have something that's ran for 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, you know that you will only be a part of that for a small, specific amount of time. But if you structure it properly, it can live beyond you. Another thing that stood out was self-sufficiency. I heard the sister Kathar say self-sufficiency. And to add on to that, I think it's good to add the instructions with the self-sufficiency, because we know people pass things down all the time. As far as inheritances, whether they be small or great, if you pass them down with lack of instruction, it's fit for disaster. You know, that's why businesses don't get ran properly. Homes get sold. Siblings fight over the possessions of the people that came before them because the instructions were not there, how to properly run it or to keep it, and just teaching the importance of ownership in business. So those are some of the things that I'll make sure I do when I have children, when that time comes. I'll definitely be focusing on the instruction and providing them properly. And also inheritance, teaching the importance of inheritance. Of course, us being children of the book, we know how important it is to understand inheritance. So if you don't understand what you are going to inherit and how to run it or what to do with it, it could be null and void. So yeah. That's all I got.
Praise the Father. Yep. We had so that was Flow. Before that was Raffle Zone. And you know, one thing that when we speak of inheriting the kingdom, if we're children and we're going to inherit the kingdom, if we want our children to inherit the kingdom, what are things we got to work towards? How are we going to work toward it? You know, and what's the foundation we're going to lay down so that our children can, it's a cakewalk for them to walk into the kingdom. So, yeah. But what else we got? Anyone else would like to come on? Any other business? Okay, cool. Did you, Brother Yatab or Sister Kathar, y'all wanted to build on anything that was said from Flow or Raffle Zone?
Not at this time. Other than that, it's just an honor, and I'm very grateful for those that, you know, we're on the same mission, you know, as far as our community and our families and our children, you know. So it's really a blessing, and it's an honor to just see the group of us willing to make the sacrifices or sacrifice the time and energy and whatever to make this happen. So all praises to the Most High for that.
Well, I definitely would second that. It's a blessing to be, you know, a part of a group of people who understand it and understand, you know, what it takes to be a part of something and to do something for other than self, right? And so that definitely is a blessing. When we're talking about, you know, this inheritance and the things that we're leaving behind for our children, that's big. That's huge, because some of us, I'll just speak for myself, and it may resonate with other people, but I'm trying to leave an inheritance and leave something for children and for, you know, descendants. And meanwhile, I'm doing that without having the same done for me, right? I didn't have a business to step into, or a family, anything to step into. I mean, there's a lot of people in my family, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of businesses. But with my dad, particularly him being a part of a workforce, or him being a part of a company doesn't, I'm not inheriting his business or his music store, or his whatever he has going on. I had to go out here and kind of like figure out what that is for myself. So it comes with the humility, I think, that there's a certain humility that we need to have, that we may not have all of the answers, right? And understanding that you don't have all the answers, that doesn't mean you still can't do these things, right? And just like we're taught, Sabbath to Sabbath, seek ye out the book and read. If there are precepts that we're unfamiliar with, or concepts when it comes to Christ that we're unfamiliar with, we should be studying that, and we should be seeking that out, and we should be seeking that wisdom. Same with for business. If there are things that we don't know, then we should definitely partner or put ourselves in a position to be around people who do know these things, who are able to do the research, who are able to, of course, gather the resources, gather the know-how, or put us around people that can do the same.
And that's the goal, is to be around people who have a similar mindset, because it's hard to, the reason why a lot of the for example, we'll go with spirituality. The reason why a lot of us are starting our new spirituality online, is because it's hard to find those who think the same in our community, who have the same mindset. Same thing when it comes to business. Like, if you don't have the support, or you don't have the similar mindsets to build upon, and if I want customers and you want customers, how come we can't work together to get customers? Well, of course, that would go into how our communities are built in the first place, how we are under the curses at the moment, to include some of the actions of our brothers and our sisters when it comes to business. So we're here to break those bonds under Christ. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, we're trying to break down the barriers that have been placed before us. And like Brother Yatab was saying, like, look, these things wasn't placed before me. I had to build all this pretty much 3 years ago, besides the character and personality that I already had. Same thing with, my business, God's Foundation. Look, I started that last year, and I happen to be 30 something. Something. But the encouragement is like, hey, y'all seen gas prices go up. Y'all seen the economy is just not doing well at all. Russia threatening this, and some stores' shelves are emptying. Prices just going up everywhere. And if you're not selling, or if you don't have a real income coming in, it's going to be tougher and tougher and tougher. If you don't know how to barter and trade, it's going to get very difficult. If you have nothing to barter and trade with, it's going to get very difficult. And our children have to learn those aspects. Inheritance. We have online, they say, it's one of the students in our classes say, I also believe it's important to have one or more type of businesses, as well as being that flow of a business is usually up and down. So when one's on a down slope, maybe the other one is still thriving. That's a good point, because I have to do the same thing. Like, even when I'm not feeling like doing one business, so I have, I partake in other businesses, in co-ops and cooperatives. So if God's Foundation ain't doing good, then I'll work on Sand of the Seas. If Sand of the Seas and God's Foundation ain't doing good, then I'll work on Legacy of Black Genius. Or we'll work on, we have another business that we're working on. So, and then we got other classes that we're taking. So wherever the energy lie at for us individually, we don't want to become stagnant just by saying we're working on one thing. Well, what if that one thing ain't getting you over the hump? You're going to have to spread yourself out a little bit. Same thing with the children. When it comes to what happens if your children have a different interest? What happens if your children got different interests than you? Well, open up that avenue for them to be able to work in that area, you know, because a lot of our families in the Hebrew community, we just decide to put our children into sports. You know, put your children in the basketball, put your children in the football. Like there's so many other things that you can bust down the door with our skill and techniques. We can bust down doors. Like, for example, I knew how to play chess when I was very young. I didn't know about a chess club until high school. But if I was taking chess in elementary, if I was taking chess in middle school, man, I'll be fired. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm that now, but I'm just saying, you know, any kind of class would help in our technique and skill. And we should be able to put our children in that direction, because we don't want to just say, oh, public school, go to school, come home. No, put more into your child, put more education, put more in learning skills, put more personal skills, whether they be employees or entrepreneurs. Let's have an inheritance for them to carry on into this next episode of where America is going, or when there is no government to be under. Yeah.
And I think
I'm trying to figure out all the different ways to say that without saying it point blank.
Exactly. And we appreciate your effort. And I think that one of the things that you're trying to bring out here, and I think that we're all speaking of, which is important, is imparting that mindset, right? It may not be enough to put a football or a basketball in your child's hand, right? Or for that matter, a lot of us try to put the Bible in our children's hands, right? We need to impart a mindset, okay, of understanding why some of these behaviors and some of these practices are important, because it's different. I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but when your parents tell you to do something, right, you just, as a good child, right, who wants to honor their parents, you're going to do it, right? But understanding why you're doing it and why it's important will create a foundation for you to be able to succeed much, much further and do much more with that, because now I know why I'm doing it. I know why this is important. So I think that we need to invest the time in making sure that the mindset of our children is succinct with the understanding and what we're trying to teach them. Make sure they understand why it's important, right? Because people work harder to do things when they understand the why. At least I know I do. I know the why powers everything else. So making sure that we impart that mindset when we're talking about these children, you know, I think that'll go a long way, because that'll also feed a desire. If they understand why they need to have this, or why they need to have this resource or this skill or this talent or this.
Yeah, I just didn't see the logo didn't carry over in the backdrop.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, I think laying back off of what Yatab was saying, grow into your goal that you set for them. So it ain't good enough. But all of it needs to be examined, which I believe we should have another conversation like this on how to have this conversation with your children about the inheritance, because we should all be sitting down having that conversation with with the next generation. Like, look, this is how you're supposed to carry this on. If all of us was to go, because at one point, you know, I mean, even in the wilderness, what happened with all those that came out of Egypt? Did the next generation know how to carry on what the Most High law, statutes, and commandments was? Because it was written down. So that goes back to what my brother was talking about when it came to a living will. Do you have written down your living will? Do you have a will at all? Right? So, yeah, I think if y'all willing, we can come back and have that conversation at a later date. The conversation of, passing down your business or an inheritance to your children. What y'all think about that?
Hey, I'm all for it.
Me
For
too.
sure.
Cool.
I mean, these are all conversations that we need to be having, as a community, as individual families, as a part of this community, and telling other people, these are some of the conversations that we should be having. And if you don't know how to have the conversation, well, then that's why we're a part of a community. So I'm pretty sure that we can gain from another's experience in trying to have these conversations and just put the topics out there, because some of these people, a lot of people are talking about, what happened on their favorite TV show, or, what happened with their favorite football team or their sports team, or, what happened in this movie or what is going on here. But are we having a conversation about our legacy? Are we having that conversation about our inheritance? Are we having that conversation about how to have that conversation, right? And those are some of the things that we can just make sure that we put out there. And again, to combat some of the other distractions that may be out here with media and so on and so forth.
Fire.
Agreed.
Yeah. So y'all cool with we could leave it here, and then we'll converse on the closeout. I mean, after we close out online, we can converse together on the Zoom. But in closing, anybody can come in and close this out online if y'all would like to, and we can land back off each other on the closing if y'all wish.
Well, I would like to say, any of those interested in joining the collective, just reach out to @Sand of the Seas. There is a number of businesses that I see with us, and that I've even had discussion with, that are ready to join. So it's just, what are you waiting for? The time is now. There's a lot of work for us to do. We've done a lot of work, but there's a lot of work for us to do for those new businesses and our children. Okay, so if you're I've sent some information out, tap the link and register, and we're here for you. Shalom.
Anyone else?
So the conversation has begun today, but it isn't something that should be limited to 1 hour or 1 week or 1 day. This should be something that we should continue to visit. We've talked about a lot of different points here, but again, all right, I just seen the screen shifting on the phone. So either way, so again, a couple of things that we talked about, in closing, how do we prepare our children for the kingdom to come? Okay. Is our business educating and empowering the youth and empowering this next generation and this legacy of our Hebrew community? Okay. Are we prepared to pass it to them? What does it take to pass it to them and maintain a legacy? Okay. How did our understanding or what it is that we grew up with affect us in inheriting a legacy or a business, right? These are some of the things that we talked about. And in the end, when we're talking about, just the community itself, we're still learning each other. So we have to understand that when in learning each other, there comes a learning curve, right? Things may not go according to one's plan, right? How do we deal with those things? How do we deal with hiccups that may come from us trying to take our community, right, and trying to build the kingdom for the Most High, there is definitely going to be opposition, because when we're talking about building a kingdom for the Most High, we live in a kingdom that is already being ran by the Most Low. So there's there is going to be opposition there, and how we're teaching ourselves, how we're learning ourselves, and how we're teaching our children to be able to deal with that opposition will be how our legacy is formed and how, of course, it is maintained. If we're not equipping the children to understand the opposition that is at hand, and that, of course, the weapons of their warfare will not be just this business or a gun or a fist, right? The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, right? We have to make sure that we're spiritually aligned to ensure that we're getting that hedge of protection from the Most High, to make sure that we're getting that power from the Most High. And he's, of course, allowing us to be able to flourish in business. Because when we read in the scriptures and we're talking about, a lot of the people, there's many to name, but a lot of the people who got a lot of the blessings, like, for example, Joseph, right? No matter whether he was in prison or whether he was, second in command of Egypt, right? The Most High had his hand on what he was doing, right? We need to make sure that we're upright and righteous people, and trying to, of course, encourage our children in this legacy and these youth to be that way, so that way we can continue to have that.
Anyone else last comment, like to close this out?
Yeah, I like to say a compliment to everyone who's participated so far. What this has been, understanding the seeds, all these businesses coming together. I just feel like we're coming back and we're reestablishing what the Most High would like us to do with our families and as a community. And these are really powerful conversations of substance from voices, businesses of great reasoning. Genuinely, I feel that way.
All praise.
Well, hey, y'all, praise the Most High. We'll be back soon. Next month, we have the opening of our art gallery, the gallery, True Hebrew Art Gallery. So please sign up, check us out, sign up on there to present your art. And then we'll be back with a Hebrew business shopping spree. So thanks for tuning in. Sand of the Seas, you want to close us out? I was gonna do it, but Sand of the Seas.
Oh, well, yeah, link in with us. If you haven't so far, follow our pages, the support. Just support, that's so important. So support our pages. Look for our upcoming events. Sand of the Seas. We keep things going. That we're active. We're active businesses coming together to make an active collective of businesses. So yeah, support our pages. There was God's Foundation, SB Management Group, Genesis Natural Order, Sand of the Seas. What else? Link in with us, and we really look forward to coming back on in a month or so. We look forward for those who are willing to join. You can find us on Facebook as well as Sands of the Seas Collective. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. Thank everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, COE, for having us. You guys are awesome. I'm also a fan. So all praises to Ahaya. It's been an honor. All praises to Wada.
Shalom.
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 Activate them holy.
You got the holy hands.
I will therefore that men pray everywhere,
Activate them holy hands.
lifting up holy hands.
Activate.
Heavenly Father,
Activate.
Holy Spirit,
Activate.
the Son,
Activate them holy hands.
we ask for you to come down
Activate.
and dwell with
Activate.
us.
Ready.
Activate.
Ready.
Activate. Ready. Serve the Most High with these holy hands. Prayers every season with these holy hands. Call on Almighty with these holy hands. Praise you the Lord with holy hands. In the holy holies where the holy stand. Baptizing and shy, got the holy fam. Attacked by Satan, now hear the holy roar. Angels sent out by the holy Lord. Be my prayer partner for holy hands. When I cry, find them holy hands. Anoint me elder with holy hands. Put them all together, we got holy hands. Sanctify the Sabbath, the holy church. Out street preaching, it's the holy work. On the way to Zion, it's the holy plan. Out of captivity to the holy land. Praise and raise.
Holy hands.
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 Clap, clap, clap,
Holy
clap,
hands.
clap, 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 clap. Praise and raise.
Holy hands.
Praise.
Woo! All right.